Yesterday I shared a knowledge about express buses and local buses and what is the main difference between them. And when I think about the main difference is that the express bus is going to the final destination in a few stops or no stops at all, while local bus is stopping every stop and a lot of stops. That means that local bus is much slower than express bus. When you ask a person, would you take express bus or local bus, most people say, I would love to take express bus because it's much faster. But when you look into real life and how people act, they most time take local buses. That means when the job opportunity show up in front of them, they take first job without considering what kind of job opportunities could come later. So today I want to share the same analogy with express and local buses, but from different perspective. Let's look into that and imagine that you are the driver of this bus. So that means, would you love to be a local bus driver, or would you love to be an express bus driver? And you have only those two options. So of course, I might say that I would love to be express bus because I just need to go from point A to point B and I don't need to consider anything else. While local bus, it needs to stop very often, and of course the destination will be reached much slower. But this consideration of being a bus driver is very similar as being a business owner, being a founder, and that means that you need to find your team that could sit in a bus. So that means if you have a team that has a express bus mentality, that means that you will be able to go with a team from point A to point B. But if those people have a local bus mentality, that means that you will need during your drive, you will need to stop to release one person, then start moving, then stop to bring someone in, and then stop and start, stop and start, stop and start. That means that your bus will need to stop a lot of times. So that means the more time you need to stop, the slower you will get to your destination. So that means it's very important to make sure that you have a right team from the start, that you don't need to stop and start, and you're able to get to your destination as fast as possible. So that means that from the start you need to ask your team, okay, so what is your vision, where you want to go, what is your plan, what is your value, what is your character. So basically you make sure that your team is good to go. And a lot of times could be that you want to go with your team to volunteering events and see what kind of character they have, what kind of values they have. Maybe you want to see their willingness by asking them to show up at 6 a.m. in a coffee shop and work on a deal that shows how willing they are to do what's necessary and what's difficult. There's a lot of different ways to check your team, but it's very important that you check your team before you let everyone in the bus. But otherwise, you will be a local bus, not express bus.